Supreme Court decided yesterday that Wisconsin had to go ahead with their primary as scheduled today. So now you have a situation that during a pandemic, people are going in public. We've already seen photos of long lines where, you know, people are exercising their right to vote, but also wearing masks and trying to stay 6 feet away from other voters. You know, I think there's both a core fear about what that means about today, but also what it means about our election in November. Can you talk about the Supreme Court's ruling first, and then I have a follow-up I want to ask about November.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the Supreme Court's ruling in 2013 in Shelby v. Holder when they gutted the Voting Rights Act. Let's talk about the fallout of that, which is that 24 states almost passed laws immediately through their state legislatures that were designed to prohibit or to interfere with people's right to exercise their right to vote. In North Carolina, a court of appeal, when reviewing that state legislature's law, said that the law was designed with, quote, surgical precision to prevent Black voters from voting. And so what we saw in Wisconsin in terms of the Supreme Court ruling is just more of the same, which is a failure to appreciate the importance of every person having equal access to the polls and exercising their right in the Constitution, their constitutional right to vote. And so what's happened in Wisconsin, God love those people who are standing in those lines. They are committed, but we should not make it so difficult for people to vote that only the most committed should vote. For a democracy to work, it means that everyone's voice counts. And
no, obviously,
that's not what we're saying.
We have there are a couple states that do have vote from home. It seems to work pretty well.
Right.
You know, there is this chance. We don't know where we're going to be in November. We don't know how social distancing rules will be in play then. Is it important, if there's any other stimulus voted on, to start putting in language that protects the right for people to vote come November? Because there's certainly nothing we've seen from this administration that would lead you to believe that they will not try to make it harder for people to vote.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. I have a bill along with many other senators, a bipartisan bill, to improve the elections infrastructure of the states, to strengthen them against foreign interference. Bipartisan support in the United States Senate. McConnell will not put it on the floor for a vote, and we believe it's because the White House doesn't want it. So we need to protect the right for folks to vote and make it as easy as possible. I believe that voting by mail is one part of the solution. We do have to deal with the fact, though, that when you again talk about race, you will find that that there are certain populations, in particular African-American voters, that do not participate as much when we're talking about vote by mail. So we have to put resources into encouraging that to happen. But we have got to make sure that this election in November has integrity and that everyone who has so much at stake participates, because the outcome of this election is going to have generational impact.
I want to now move on to lighter fare.
Okay.
I have heard tell that you have used your time at night to watch Tiger King. Is this true?
Yeah, we got sucked into it.
And
what a hot mess.
Yeah, no, it is nice every now and then to realize some things were hot messes before Corona hit.
Right, or at least by contrast, yeah.
Yes. Did you, as a former prosecutor, how did you feel the investigation of Carole Baskin was handled?
You know, often what prosecutors will say is that there's a big difference between knowing what happened and proving what happened. I would suggest that we probably need more evidence to prove what happened to her husband. You know, where is he? Hasn't he seen the show, and why isn't he coming forward at this point? Yeah.
Did at any point it make you think to yourself, we should get a big game cat for the house? Have you thought that?
No. I mean, I'm just trying to feed my husband every day.
How is the cooking going? Because of course that is
coming along really well. But,
okay,
you know, it's coming along well.
You guys share the duties? I know he took a cooking class.
I had a conversation with my mother-in-law about why didn't she actually make her son clean his room more often.
That happened here too.
So yeah, we are splitting up. Saturdays have become chores day. And so now we have divided up cooking, and he cooks Wednesday and Saturday.
I think this is a time, I don't know about you, but I actually have, one of the few silver linings is reconnecting with people.
Yeah.
Both like this and via phone. And you think it's important, right? Like now, especially when you think about our older population, now more than ever is a really good time to reach out. When you say
It really is. And Seth, you know, nothing can replace the sound of laughter. Like reading LOL, just it doesn't
not the same. It is
work
not the
these
same.
days. I find myself picking up the phone and calling people much more often. Let's remember our single friends and our friends and relatives and neighbors who are seniors, because this, you know, what I've been saying is that this is there's a requirement of social isolation, but let's make sure we're not engaging in emotional isolation. People are literally alone right now, and it's so important that people don't feel alone. And that's why connecting with each other and just sharing a laugh, it just, you know, even a 5-minute call, it really does make a difference. And we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this, but unlike some of the other tragedies we've experienced, the isolation part of this is something that is going to have, I think, a real effect if we don't work at making sure no one feels alone.
Well, I certainly appreciate you making me feel a little bit less isolated today. Thank you for your time as always, Senator. I really appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you.